Bars are closed, it's Sunday night. The only bar where you won't see a fight. Just sitting down to shoot the shit. From ice cold beers to politics. Plane, train, bus, or in your car. You're always at home at the Real Bar.
Sponsored by the Palisades Hotel Bar and Grill.
What's going on, guys? Back with another episode, Season 2 of the Real Bar Podcast. I'm here with one and only co-host, RJ Ferrucci. What's up, bro?
What is going on, guys?
And he's already not talking in his mic. And then I'm back with our guest for the week is Drew Deblasis.
What's going on, Mason? Thanks for having me.
No problem, bro. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
This should be a good episode. I'm excited. We finally got our guest list in order and shit like that, so this season should be really good. Starting off, obviously, with Drew. Let's just get a little bit into the backstory and like how we all know each other, if you want to do that, just to kind of give everyone like a little preface. So how do you and RJ know each other? Just like quick.
So, I mean, me and RJ kind of grew up together, you know, at the hockey rink, good old Kenny Arena.
Yeah.
Playing some puck. Mason, a lot of city work. Mason doesn't do a damn thing, let me tell you. I'm just playing, bro. He does some decent straight lines. I'll give him that.
I'm in the fucking Rome City Hall of Fame for fucking Mo Crew, bro.
No, he was decent. We ran the parks at Jimmy's. It was pretty fun.
For sure. So, all right, let's just jump right into it. Just like a couple other guests we had season 1. Shout out to Cook and Eichner. You played college baseball, right? So, what's like your journey with baseball? Like, how long have you been playing? How'd you get into it in the collegiate level? And then talk about like the balance between being like an athlete and a student athlete. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I started baseball probably like 3-4 years old, going up through Little League, playing high school. We could really skip all that. But if I were to talk about a little backstory, I say in high school, I really wasn't that interested in school. I would say I played football, hockey, baseball. So sports honestly kept me pretty busy.
Yep.
My mom would always say, she'd be like, yo, you need to get your grades up. Like, baseball's not going to get you into school. I'd be like, Mom, trust me, it will work. So
yep.
I go to visit Brockport. It was funny because I didn't visit actually that many schools, to be honest. I looked at Utica College. I was like, this is way too close. So Brockport was like that, you know, 3-hour distance.
Yep.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was like close to home but far enough. So my SAT scores, let me tell you, standardized testing is not that pretty cool.
All right. If you're going to bring them up, what'd you get? Come on.
If I could bring them up, dude, like 950 to be honest. Two parts.
All right, it's important for later on. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah, to be honest, but I'm not ashamed. Like, it's SATs, you know what I mean? So got into Brockport. It was actually through a program. It was called Exceptional Talent, actually. So you had to get like over a 3.0 for 2 semesters straight to basically get off the program, where you had to go to study hall like 3-4 times a week, I think.
So it was like academic ineligibility sort of thing, like.
No, not like ineligibility. It was just a program for someone who didn't completely meet the requirements to go to school. Like as far as like standardized testing wise.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
I follow.
So I went to Brockport for that, you know.
Was it? Let me go back. So it was like a probation, or was it literally just a program? Because
No,
it sounds more like a probation, where like if you don't get what you need, you're off the team, sort of thing. Is that what it was?
No, it had nothing to do with baseball.
Oh, okay.
It just had something to do with me getting into school. So it was before I even got there.
Okay.
So it was basically a program where I had to go to study hall. I was required to go to study hall about 4 times a week, do my hours, and if I got a 3.0 2 semesters in a row, I'd be off that. I would never have to go to like study hall, so whatever, and like that. You know, so I took advantage of that. Never got below a 3.0 in Brockport, so in 2 semesters I was off. Started playing baseball there. Freshman year I had about like 12 at-bats, so I was like, you know, I'm going to hit the weight room. These boys are big. Started working out. I know Mason likes to work out.
A little bit here and there.
Yeah. Yo, he had protein powder in the back as the backdrop, but, you know, it's nice.
We did. Season 1, we had a little protein powder. That was the workout kick. I'm still working out 4 to 5 days a week, but it ain't my favorite anymore. So just one thing that, like, I mean, you hit on it, like, separate, but, like, together. So, like, I know you said you got no less than a 3.0 while you were at Brockport, but, like, how hard was the balance between that, like, being a student athlete, like getting to class, like, getting your work done, like, passing, like, how hard was that to, like, maintain?
So I think being a student athlete was probably the best thing for me. I think it allowed me and, like, forced me to almost be proactive. So if I had a game on Thursday, or like I had something due in 2 weeks, because we were always missing class and stuff like that, we'd leave for trips on a Thursday, not come back to like 12 at midnight on Sunday. So I would just finish projects like ahead of time and just make sure I'm doing the group work and going to class. I think going to class is the most important thing for college, to be honest.
So you say going to class is the most important thing. What was your priority in school though? Because I played college sports too, and trust me, like I know when Monday came, like what were you looking forward to more? That game on Thursday or that homework due on Thursday?
What do you mean, the game? I'll do the homework so I could fucking be eligible to play the game.
Very good.
But no, of course. But I always wanted to get something out of college. I think what it was mostly for me is because I wanted to prove myself. You know, get good grades, get out of there, have a degree, be able to get a good job, try and be proactive about getting a good job because, I mean, to me, it's all about establishing relationships with people.
Yep.
Like, obviously, taking care of business, making sure you're doing good in school and things like that. But, like, the most important thing, I think, is really developing relationships. And because, you know, if you do something for someone, you respect them, in the end, they'll help you out. They'll, like,
So
help you out.
before we jump too far into this, because like that's like gonna be a good like point of the whole conversation.
Yeah.
I heard you say you wanted to kind of prove yourself, and then you kind of like just jumped over it. Who are you trying to prove yourself to? Prove yourself to yourself that you could actually get out of school and pass, or were there people that doubted you based on like your reputation? Like who are you trying to prove yourself to?
No, honestly, to myself, because like through high school, like I knew I didn't care much about school, but when I got to college, like I knew I was gonna be paying for it in the end. Also, like my dad didn't go to college or anything like that. Rocco was the first one to graduate from a 4-year school. Went to MV for 2 years.
Who's Rocco?
My cousin, Rocco Deblasis. And then you know he finished at Ithaca, and then I was like another one, the Deblasis family, to do, you know, just another 4 year. So. I mean, definitely proved to myself because I wasn't the best in high school. I wanted to do good in college and get good grades, get out of there, and hopefully get a good job. Yeah.
So do you think that program you talked about earlier, like when you were getting into Brockport, did that like put a chip on your shoulder, and did that like kind of motivate you to like work harder?
Yeah, honestly, it did because when Coach Beach had a lot to do with that too. It was my coach at Brockport. He gave me a chance. You know, he was like, okay, this kid's a pretty decent ball player. His grades maybe don't meet the requirements, but at the same time, his standardized testing, you know, is that the most important thing? Like, let's give him a chance. So, like, obviously didn't want to let my coaches down, too.
Yeah.
And then later in the years, I ended up becoming a leader, and, like, we had a really good relationship. So it was nice to prove to him that I could actually get good grades and things like that.
I think that chip on the shoulder is sometimes very important to a lot of people because it actually sources as a lot of motivation. And even though it seems like at first when you get that notice that you meet these special circumstances or you need to do these certain things, it kind of puts you in a bad spot at first. But when you look back at it now, you're looking at, you know what, that might have pushed me the extra bit to go further or to do better for your life in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
So a couple times you mentioned, more than a couple times, standardized testing. I feel like you have like a strong opinion on it. That it's just. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like you're kind of talking about it like it doesn't actually measure anything. Do you not think standardized testing is a good way to like?
And be honest here, because don't give us what you think is the right answer, because there's a lot of people on both sides of this fence here.
Yeah.
And I think your opinion actually is very important, and as are others, because this is very controversial.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's opinion's important.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own opinion. Like, we got to respect those opinions. But I think for me, and honestly, this is like a true answer for me. It isn't the right answer. Standardized testing definitely measures intelligence. Like, don't get me wrong on that. But I don't think testing is the most important part, especially, you know, when you're looking at employment and jobs. Like, taking a test isn't the most important thing, you know what I mean? You got to be able to communicate with people. You got to be able to handle the job. You know, a lot of people don't like to work nowadays. So you also got to want to work hard every day and be driven, but obviously being smart helps. But like I could be the first one to say I'm not the best test taker.
Personally, I agree. I actually really agree with you on this one, because I don't think a test measures your common sense. I think it measures your ability to memorize something or to get something to you and then just spit it back.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what the real life is. I think the real life is built more on experience and what can you give me now, not what score can you get in this test. So I think you're right. I really do.
Yeah, it's a good point. Don't get me wrong. I studied a lot for tests in college. Like, you know what I mean? Especially like statistics, all my accountings and stuff. Like I said, I wasn't good at that stuff, so I'd like really apply my stuff. But my studying, but I don't know. It was just like me memorizing things, and then a lot of those skills didn't really transfer to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I think standardized tests help in a certain way, but not the way they're meant to. So they're meant to like test you and like they're based on like your knowledge and like your scores, how smart you are. I don't think that's the way they help, but I think they help in being out in the real world, like corporate America, whatever you want to call it, like working in an office. Like I've slowly learned there's a game you have to play everywhere you go. You start at the bottom and you have to play a game to get to the top. You're never just gonna get it handed to you. It doesn't matter how good your people skills are, who you know. There's a game. You got to slowly, okay, I got to be nice to this person. I got to impress this person. I don't like my boss, but if I'm nice to him, then this guy. And that's what I think SATs or standardized tests do. It's something you have to do. Almost everyone has to do them to get to college. So I think that's the aspect they help in. Not the aspect where it's like, oh, it makes you're smarter than him, but it just like it's like it sets you up for like that game you have to play in life, where no matter what you want to do in life, you have to play a little bit of a game to get to the next step. And I think that's what SATs kind of do.
And to be honest with you, I've seen people, like I think all of us have seen people. We're all in different grades. We've all graduated different levels, right?
Yeah.
I think we've all seen the most intelligent people get higher scores in SATs. I think that pretty much applies. Like I know who scored really well in my SATs, like in my grades SATs.
Yeah, same.
And I'm pretty sure it like applies to like their grade point average. Like so, if they are top of the class, most likely their SATs are very high also. So what does that mean? I mean that means that are they good test takers or are they just that smart? I don't know the answer to that. I think it's
but does it mean does it necessarily mean the people at the top of your class are the smartest?
Yeah.
Or are they the people that study the most?
Yeah.
Because I
don't
know.
know.
I mean, senior year, even junior year, I didn't even do a piece of homework. And senior study hall, that's where you get your homework. You get it from the smart person that did it.
Yeah.
But are they the smart person? No, you know I'm right.
No, sometimes,
you get it from the person that did it. And 90% of you didn't do it. The one person did it. You change a couple answers. She gets the 100. We all get 90s, 80s, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
But does that mean they're the smart one? Or are they just the one that goes home and does their fucking work and has a head on their shoulders and isn't out drinking it when they're in 11th grade and doing dumb shit like most people do?
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. And I mean
you can still drink and do dumb shit and do all your homework too.
And you can be very smart. You can be very smart, and you can go out and party all the time.
Yeah.
I know people that do it. I know people that go out, they drink on the weekends. They're very, very smart.
Yeah.
And they get 4 hours in college, and I don't know what makes you good at school. I don't know what it is. I really don't. If I knew, I would do it. Like trust me, I would.
The way you're putting your
if I could
sentences together just makes me think you're not good at school.
Tell you what, if I could sit on my couch all day and not go to class, not open a book and get hundreds, I would. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And there's people that can do that though.
Yeah. It's
You
awesome.
know there is. Like there's people that are just blessed with whatever it is it takes to be good at school.
Book smarts, that's what they're blessed with.
Yeah.
They're just good at memorizing things
or they're working hard when no one's watching.
Yeah.
True.
You know, there's always.
I don't want to discredit anyone. I don't want to discredit anyone because people that do well in school work very hard
for sure
in most cases. So I don't want to discredit those people at all.
For sure.
So speaking of school, I mean now in today's day and age, kind of directed towards Drew, but I mean everyone's got them nowadays. What do you think about student loans? Is all this school we go to, and like you said, a lot of it doesn't even like transfer over to what you're doing now. Do you think it equals out how much a lot of us owe the government with the education we actually got?
So it's a touchy subject. Remember how you were talking about earlier in the podcast? It's kind of like that game you gotta play.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
fucking my bank account ain't part of the game I gotta play, brother. I shouldn't have to owe someone some money like that.
Yeah, so you have strong opinions on it then too?
Oh, for sure. Very strong opinions on it.
Okay, so I'm guessing you paid for school then?
I what?
You're paying for school?
Yeah, I mean, I got blessed with like some like grants and stuff like that, obviously. But yeah. I owe money and I pay it out of my own pocket. Yeah.
A lot of people do. Yeah, for sure. So, like, I think like the way we worded the question is like, is student loans a burden? So I do want to say I don't think student loans are necessarily a burden because, you know, I went to college. I took advantage of it. I'm grateful for that education because it gave me a chance, you know, to land this job. Do I think it's too expensive? Yes. Do I think there's alternatives? Yes. And hopefully when I'm older, I have enough money to pay for my kids' college, you know, send them through. But, you know, if I don't, I actually want to have that conversation with them and say, hey, like, sit down. Like, try and think about what you want to do. I know, obviously, not everyone knows what they want to do when they're 18 years old. But, like, there's trade schools. There's these business development camps that they're talking about nowadays and stuff like that. And I've had some conversations on that. But, I don't know. Sometimes it's a bad return on investment, I would have to say. Yeah. Especially for, like, certain degrees.
So, like, I have, like, a theory on it, which obviously it's not 100% going to work. But like my theory on it is like, so say you make college free, right? High school's free. Say you make college free. Well, high school's whatever tax dollars, but say it was free to go. Anyone could go as long as you had a diploma. We'll say that. Just set the precedent. So a high school diploma or a GED, whatever, it's free.
Anyone could go.
Anyone,
State schools,
with one of those two things, state schools. We'll just say that to set a precedent. I think that right there would eliminate the amount of people that would go just off the bat. So like some people are like, oh, I'm not going because like it costs too much money, blah blah blah. If it was free, I think just like in high school, senior year, the kids that wanted to go were there. The kids that didn't were walking around the hallways. You think if you make college free, some random kid who got fucking D's all the way through college or high school and didn't want to go to college is gonna stay for 4 years? I think they'll weed themselves out. If you make it free, the people who want to be there every day, just like class. I pay for college. I didn't go to every class. I skipped class 3 days a week. It'll happen the same way in a bigger scale. If you don't want to go to school, you're not going to go. So if it's free, you'll eventually weed yourself out. You might go for the party, think it's cool. After a year, you're like, I'm fucking not doing anything. I don't want to be here. Why can't that happen? I know why, but like you don't understand what I'm saying?
America hates free stuff. Though.
Huh?
America hates free stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And
Anything, it's true though.
But do you kind of see what I'm saying?
And I'll be honest, like I have pretty strong opinions.
Sometimes,
and they
like,
may not
I'm
be like aligned with you here, but like
You don't have to. Let's hear him.
I'm gonna say it, and I don't want to linger on this one because I could talk about it forever. And am I right? I don't know. Like obviously, who knows who's really right in this situation?
Yeah.
But I think the problem with free school is that if it's available for everyone for free,
Yeah.
the problem is that people will take advantage of that, and they will go to those schools for free. Okay, some people will work hard, some people won't, like you said.
Yeah.
But now the problem is that these degrees are going to be so readily available to everyone. Okay, so what is going to set you apart now? So now those people that have those bachelor's degree, if they want to be set apart from the pack, now they're going to have to go with those master's degrees. So what does that do? Now that increases your debt even more, while these people that don't have them aren't like in that debt. So the problem is that it's going to happen regardless of how it's set up, because when you're in college and if you're not paying for it, you get that bachelor's degree, don't get that bachelor's degree. But now there's going to be a lot more in the field, okay? So what's going to happen now is that there's going to be harder to find jobs because there's going to be so many bachelor's degrees. So what are employers going to do? They're going to say, you know what? Instead of that bachelor's degree that we require, we're going to require a master's degree because it's a little bit harder and there's less people that have it. So now people have to go get master's degrees. So now we're in the same cycle.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same idea.
I might not be right on that, but I just kind of how my thought.
I get where you guys both are coming from, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
And you can go all day on the subject for sure.
Yeah, the subject
and it's just.
Yeah.
It's really tough. It's tough. Think about it. Is there a right situation for it? Like they're trying it right now with free school for people that make under 100K as a family.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's going on.
Yeah, it's still early in the process to see what's going to happen because there's still a lot of jobs out there that aren't filled. I'm just interested to see, like, as this program lays out further, what happens to those jobs that are requiring bachelor's degrees? Are they going to move to master's degrees? And now are people going to be underqualified for those jobs?
That's where I think
they're getting away from that, though. I think they're trying to.
That's where I think that your system is flawed. You keep saying, "Oh, well, the ones that require a bachelor's are going to need a master's because it's harder." But why the fuck do we require a degree? What does that piece of paper fucking say that I can do that you can't? I know people at my personal job that are smarter than me that have no fucking degree, and vice versa.
How long have they been there, though? That's what I have to ask you.
Well, I'm not going to single out a certain person.
No,
but
okay, you don't have to say an exact number, but is it over 10, like 10?
No, no, I'm not talking about smarter than me at my job.
Oh, you're saying.
I'm just saying well-rounded, great people, which is some of the skills Drew was saying you needed. I know people that have those. Like, I have a degree, 4-year degree. I think I have great people skills and, like, I'm well-rounded and, like, I think I can move up in a company, but without that piece of paper, I can't, so I had to go get it. Like, that's where I think the system starts off being flawed because
I'm not saying it's
what
right.
you said makes sense. Yeah, it'll just turn into a full circle bullshit. But if you never needed that piece of paper and it was actually solely based on your interview and your people skills and fucking a person-to-person connection.
Knowledge. Well, it comes on knowledge,
well,
too.
yeah,
but.
obviously your knowledge, but
Yeah.
then that piece of paper is out of the picture. So everyone has a chance. But some people are better than others.
Yep.
I'm going to interview better than you. I'm going to impress my boss more than you. Like, I'm going to go out of my way. Like, I have those social skills to where you got your master's, but you're talking to a rock, bro. Like,
and you're not. And
also,
go ahead.
Depends what you want to do, though. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's cool that, you know, there's obviously jobs that have requirements for degrees. Like, there's always going to be those jobs. But like I was talking about earlier, There's alternatives. You could be an electrician. You could be a mechanic. You could be, for example, an underwater welder. Chris is doing that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. And
It's sick.
And I don't want to take anything
make
away
good
from
money,
trade
too.
schools. Trade schools are like, I mean, they're the basis of the country, of the world. Like, you always need those people.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's people that are specialized. Well, that I shouldn't say specialized. That they want to be specialized in certain degrees, and then the only way to get those jobs is to fulfill those requirements that those papers ask for, like Indeed.com when they're asking for that master's degree.
Yeah.
You know what we
got
got to get?
experience. Like,
Honestly, to speak on that though, like I feel like, do you feel like with the certain degree you have, do you always think you go into that field after college? Did you go into the same field?
I personally got lucky where I'm in the field where I graduated. Like, so I graduated with cybersecurity, and I'm in the cybersecurity field.
Okay.
But I got lucky, and like, not a lot of people have that. Like, not a lot of people do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers on it. I wish I had the numbers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say before Drew goes, you know what we need up here for like this season is someone like sit off camera and like fact check everything.
Yeah,
we say.
that'd be awesome, because especially right now, I'd love to know that number.
To get
I'd
some
love to.
statistics and shit in here
What number, RJ?
To say like
How
how
many
many people graduate.
and get a degree in their field.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that'd be a good
I'd like
question.
to know that. 'cause
I'd say it's definitely less than like 35%. I would
Yes,
say.
I would
look at it.
I would probably say my guess is 50%, and I'm hoping that's generous.
I think
but-
it's way lower than 50.
But yeah,
I hope it's 50, but I
yeah,
don't think
it's
it
just
is.
that's just a sad reality now.
Yeah.
And
All right. Well, Drew's looking this up. We're still gonna ask him another question. You can hear me, right, Drew?
Yeah.
All right. So you had a kind of like a different path to your job. I wouldn't say different, but like a cool path to like the job you have now, with like an internship and shit like that. Can you talk about like basically how you got into your field and like how it worked out for you, like how you progressed through and now to where you are now in it?
Yeah, I can get talking about that, but I did find this.
What do we got?
It says, so don't quote me, but it says Washington Post.
We'll go with them. We'll go with them for today.
We'll take them.
It says only 27%
Wow.
of college grads have a job
I
related
said
to
less
their
than
major.
35. I was
Wow.
right there, bro. I
Yeah.
told you. So that shows how fucking worthless that piece of paper is.
And we talked about student loans on this episode.
Yeah.
And we're talking about these degrees, and now we draw the correlation here, people. Like, and I'm not gonna say don't go get a degree, but like,
But
Yeah,
don't.
take
It
that.
just
advice.
But
doesn't-
don't
it's
go get a
not adding
degree.
up.
End of story.
yeah, it,
But
mean,
you know the
that's-
sad part is.
You can't say that though.
But you know the
because-
sad part
you
is.
still need it. That's the
that's
problem.
what, dude.
Yeah.
The people getting those degrees in my field, exercise science, are getting jobs in the business field because they have a 4-year degree and someone else does
Yep.
it. They don't even care what the degree says on it.
Yeah.
They just want to know you went to school for 4 years.
And I don't know if it's a discipline thing, which I kind of think it's a discipline thing. Like, they want to see a 4-year degree because if you can get through a 4-year degree, you probably have a.
Oh shit,
a
we're
lot
not
more
even
discipline.
recording, bro.
No way.
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh my god, dude! Imagine if we just got through all of that.
Yeah, you had me over here like looking at the phone. And, like,
That would have been fucking
I'm like, is that
hilarious.
thing blinking right or anything? I'm not running this back. I'm going home.
Damn, he would have left. That's awesome. All right. So to the question I asked you, like, how'd you get into your field? How'd you how'd the internship? Like, how'd you get from college to where what you're doing today?
All right, yeah. So, I mean, I can get into my internships a little bit, but I don't want to get like too much into them because working for free isn't that much fun.
Yeah.
But no. But I had an internship it was actually a gym. So I was a sports management major to like run it back a little bit, and then I was a business administration minor. So like the core business classes that the majors take, but I didn't go as far in depth as someone who would have a business admin major, and then sports management. But I had a internship at a gym. It was called Dunamis Gym. I handled a lot of their marketing, so it was actually a small business, just taking off. So like my job was to try and get more members and things like that. Not necessarily calling, but it was in like a good shopping center where like a lot of people would walk in and like see what's going on. I would chill at the desk, like make a lot of their T-shirts, a lot of their flyers, and we'd try and get in partnerships with like local businesses within Spencerport. It was actually called.
Okay.
So it was like an hour outside of Brockport. And then I did one with the Syracuse Crunch, but that one was pretty chill. Kind of just like hung out, like talked to the fans, just really just not much to be honest.
Like a
It was kind of like what you wanted to get out of it, like, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would kind of just shadow like a lot of the account executives that were like selling tickets. But honestly, I didn't like do much. But it was a good experience. I did that for like, I think it was like 5 weeks during like winter break, so that was nice. But I got more experience out of the one in Spencerport. That was nice. And then so fast forward after the internships and stuff like that. So now it's like I'm about to graduate. I think it was like earlier in senior year. I'm like, what am I gonna do after college? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And me, like, I get bored very easy. You know, I like to keep myself busy, so I'm like, I should find a job. You know, like, let me go talk to some people around campus. You know, with maybe some connections I made. So the first person I went to was actually my athletic director. She was actually an assistant athletic director at Rockport. Susan Hoffman, great lady. She does a lot. She actually just got an award there for, like,
Yeah, I saw you shout her out on Twitter.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, she's a good girl. Good woman, I should say. But, you know what I mean?
Good girl.
But yeah, so I went to her. I was like, hey, like, I originally wanted to be an athletic director. So I was like, you know, I did some research. So to be an athletic director at a high school, you actually need an education degree. So I would have to go get my master's, grab my education degree, be an AD.
Yep.
Funny how that works. But for an AD in college, NCAA, you don't need your education degree. Yeah, I mean, a finance or like a business or anything like.
Is
with
this like
experience
you
in
fact
budgeting
check
stuff.
this? Because I don't want you.
Look it up. I swear to God.
I'm asking you if you know. It's
Yeah,
all right,
it's
all right,
fact.
all right.
Yeah, that's a true thing. You guys could fact check me on that. But
We need
so
a
we were
fact
talking
checker.
about that.
Fact checker? Nope. Noted.
So we were talking about that, and then she was like, actually, M&T Bank is coming here for like a little. They're doing like a little PowerPoint to talk about the management development program. Just go there and network. It's for people with a business minor and a business major. So I'm like, okay. So there's like 20 people that went, and then me and my friend Justin LaRosa went from school, so we went together. And the kid that was given the presentation actually was a Rockport alumni like the year before. So I like recognized him. He played lacrosse before. We were kind of just hit it off. And then like a couple days later, I found out that I got like a FaceTime interview. So I took that with Human Resources. That went well. Did another interview with like my regional manager here who sits in downtown Utica. And then I did one with our market manager who sits in Binghamton. And then after 3 interviews, I got a call like 20 minutes after, and they offered me. So kind of honestly, I got really lucky.
Yeah.
Like I went to go be proactive and talk about, you know, my career and what I wanted to be as an athletic director. And like I said, just going back to connections and relationships that I made in college, and you know, something ended up good out of it, and I really ended up liking the program, and it's just graduated from it last week, so it's been going good.
Word. So I mean, good for you. First of all, congrats.
Congrats.
Second, so you say a few times so far this episode you've talked about like networking and like talking to people and sort of thing. Would you almost say, and I don't want to get back into the debate we already had, but would you almost say that side of things, which is like networking and communicating and like social skills, are more important than schooling? And I don't want you to say one's better than the other, but do you think now, based on the job you have, you could have done it without going to school? Like you could have got that job just with your face value, like personality.
Yeah. So let me know if this doesn't answer your question directly, but I think it will.
All right.
So like going to school is important because like, you know, it teaches you to be disciplined and, you know, doing your homework, following that schedule,
Play the game,
balance.
yeah.
Balance being a student athlete and, you know, doing the schoolwork. But I think it did help for work because, you know, it forced me to be disciplined to learn the systems that M&T has taught me, you know, the certain systems that we use to put in our loans, and, you know, we use to do all the math and our interest rates and our, you know, and things like that, all the stuff we're pulling up. And then, yeah, I mean, I just think it's pretty helpful.
Well, one thing you mentioned is you met these kids at school. So I don't want to overlook the fact that you going to school literally made you these contacts.
Yeah, true.
But also,
I guess if that's the way you want to think about it, yeah, that's true, yeah.
But one thing I think is really important about your story is, and I really think people overlook this so much, is the value of internship. Because I know, like, some people think like interning it means nothing. It means nothing. It's like you said, it sucks. You're not making any money. But like everyone I talk to that has done an internship seems to have a job. And I think it's very important for like anyone that's listening to know that like doing these internships are going to make you valuable. And they're going to make you very valuable, and they're going to put you in front of the next person that has a bachelor's degree. Because guess what? You want to line up bachelor's degree, then go ahead. How do you compare one Brockport student to the next Brockport student? Their interview? Okay, they're both good interviewers.
Yeah.
That internship is very, very important. And I think that's one thing you kind of, like you mentioned it, but I think you overlook the value of it to yourself, because I think it, in the end, that being on your resume really puts you into where you are now.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, and it could be the connections. I think it's a mix of everything, but I think that when they looked at your resume and saw you had experience, I think that was like a green light for them, saying, okay,
Yeah.
he's done it.
Yeah.
Boom, get him in.
It's funny you say that because I actually had an internship requirement. But it's funny. So it was like you had to have like a 40-hour internship. So like my senior year, my last semester, I had one class. It was Principles of Finance. It was on Monday nights. So I had one class once a week. The rest of my time I was spending at my internship and baseball. So that was like my last semester senior year. But like back to Mason though, like, you know, the whole thing with like school and transferring to a job.
Yeah.
I think it definitely teaches you to follow a schedule, be able to follow that schedule, and be able to communicate and stay on task and work efficiently. Yeah, I think that's where that would relate. But like the systems I'm learning at the bank and everything else, you know, that I utilize in my everyday job, I definitely didn't learn that in school. But the
Right.
skills transferred. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Like
I
the
understand,
concepts
for
and
sure.
ideas of it. You know.
Yeah. So my next thing is, I mean, so you're at M&T now. How have you like developed through M&T? Like, are you still where you started, entry level? Have you moved up? Is there a program to where you can move up? Like, how does that work? Like, how do you know there's like a future there, if there is?
That's a good point. So, I guess I'll just start talking about the program. I'll just go from there. And then
Yeah,
I'll,
make sure
like,
you
run
like,
into it.
explain what the program is, because I think that's really important for.
Yeah.
for
And I have no
listeners.
idea what it is.
Yeah,
So-
I feel like that would make the most sense. Just kind of run it back and tell a story. But 12-month long program. Actually, about 8 months, 8 to 10 months, 10 months, 10 months. So you know, it kind of all started. 100 people in the program. Went there for the first week. You know, you just kind of like learn about the bank's culture. So, you know, like they showed us everything M&T's about. We call ourselves a relationship bank. So it's funny how I talk about all that networking and establishing a relationship. That's why I thought M&T was like a good place for me, and I'll touch more on that later. But, you know, then we go into like more training. So like you guys wanted to ask like where I travel and stuff like that. So I'll get in a little bit of that. So one of the places was Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I'll take you through like a training that we did for that. It was like a sales training. So when I say back to like learning all the systems and stuff like that, it was 2 weeks of learning our system. It's called PACE. That's where we put our loan through. CCM, Customer Contact Management. So basically every customer interaction that you have, you should be logging it into that system. So say they go to a different banker. So say I work in North Utica, they go to a banker in Whitesboro. You could look that up and you know exactly what's going on in that customer's life. So we kind of fill out a thing called it's like a financial fitness tab, and you ask like questions based on like their credit management needs, you know, their interest in a loan right now, like basically really just what's going on in their life. That's really what my
I'm gonna
job
stop you
was.
real
and
quick,
that's how we
just
taught.
so we can clarify something. Are you a teller?
No.
Are you a loan officer, or what is? So like, if I went to a bank, just to kind of clarify this
Yeah.
all. If I went to a bank, where would I find you?
Loan officer in the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you'd be like, so at AmeriQ,
I did do teller training though, the first 2 weeks of the program actually.
Okay.
So just so I can get an idea of like how the bank works operationally, and like, you know, obviously learn about fraud, because that's a
Yeah.
big thing. You don't want to be cashing fraudulent checks and stuff like that.
So you pretty much what you'd do, people would come to you and apply to loans, and
Yeah.
you would look into their past credit, whatever
Yeah.
it is, and then make a judgment, grant the loan, not grant the loan.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Well, like the way I look at it, like there's people that come into the bank and say, "Hey, I need a personal loan." It's like, okay, let me look at those options for you. What's the term? You know, your interest rate's going to fall between this and that based on your credit score, your debt to income, your credit history, your ability to pay on time. Those are the conversations I'm having with the customers. Yeah.
Okay.
But another customer could come in and say, "Hey, like my debit card broke," you know, and that's my job to turn that maintenance issue into like almost like a good conversation to understand where their needs based are at that time in their life.
So
And
your
then
job,
maybe it's
so
go
you pretty
ahead.
much kind of, so in short,
of-
you pretty much you're always selling. You're always selling something.
yeah, it's definitely a sales job.
So
yeah,
if you're selling,
yeah.
you're selling a service, you're selling
Yeah.
customer service, you're selling something. Right?
Checking accounts, credit cards,
Yeah.
home equities,
No, and there's nothing
personal
wrong with
loans,
that. I'm not
auto
trying
loans.
to talk
What's
down
up?
that. I'm not trying to talk down on that. I'm just
No,
trying to,
it's a sales
trying to
job,
kind of like
yeah.
inform of what the actual job is.
Yeah, it's a sales job.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny because when we went to that sales training in PA, the guy one of the regional managers in Pennsylvania came in. He's like, "All right, who here thinks they're in a sales job?" And I was sitting next to my buddy. We're the only two that raised their hand in like a class of like 15 people. I was like, "What do you mean? Of course it's a sales
Were they being
job."
like,
It's retail banking.
Yeah, and
It's
I think all
sales.
banking, if you think about but the banks are trying to sell you something, if you know it or not, they're selling you something.
Depending on what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like in credit and you're a credit analyst, you're not really selling.
Bro, I
anything.
go to the teller line at Key Bank, and they're trying to sell me a credit card or like one of these market savings account.
It's always sign up for a new credit card, zero interest.
Want to hear a
Yeah.
quick fact about credit cards?
What?
M&T Bank makes $300,000 a day off credit card interchange. So that's basically if you have a M&T credit card, we split it with Visa. We make $300,000 just use.
Want to know another quick fact?
And there you go, people.
That
What's good?
piggybacks off of his is credit cards are probably one of the safest things you can invest your money in.
I think it's
It's a
You gotta
small return on your investment, but it's always a return on it's always gaining money.
Is it safer than bonds? I don't know if you know this or not. Is it
What?
safer than bonds?
So
So if you were investing in credit cards versus investing in bonds,
I don't know
safer, or
like
do
the
you not
actual
know?
percentage between them, but
Okay.
I know in like the past like 5 to 7 years, bonds, gold, and credit cards are like 3 of the smallest return on your investments, but also the safest.
Okay.
I'm not sure like the actual percentage,
Word.
but that's just coming from someone that does like finances and invests for my family.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And,
you invest at all, Mace?
I don't personally, but
Yeah.
I mean I wish I studied like the stock market, but I never got into it. But yeah, like my money does get invested. My mom's
sure.
mom's money's been getting invested forever, and
Yeah, you were telling me that a couple of years ago, actually.
yeah. When we worked together, I was telling you about it, and yeah, the guy that, not to get into it, but the guy that does it for us, he knows his shit. He's a family friend, and he's very fucking smart. He's made my mom decent money. Is all I'll
I
say.
think I know him, but I don't want to drop his name.
RJ,
same
you
guy.
look like an investing guy. You invest all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if we want to talk about it, I think it's very important for anyone to do that because we're so young, and like obviously not everyone listening to this podcast is going to be young, but it doesn't matter because if you're not investing your money for the future, then it's doing nothing for you.
Yeah.
Every rich person in this world always says, "Make your money work for you." And I want to, and you can fact check that one. I want to see somebody that's made it very well for themselves say that they don't have their money working for them in some kind of way, and I don't suggest you do it on your own. I've tried, and I know a few people
play
that have
around
tried.
a little bit with it, not too much though.
Yeah,
Not too much.
if you want, you can mess around with the penny. The penny stocks are fun and a quick way to learn. And I've done it, and I've lost, and I've won. Lost more than I won because penny stocks are hard. But if you want to be serious about it, you find a financial advisor, you go to him, and you give him all this information. He does it for you, and the percent small that he takes.
Yeah, but
he
you got to
only-
watch
I
out
don't know if
for
it's
just like you
small,
were,
dude.
just
I
like
don't
you
know
guys
if
were
it's
talking about earlier. Also, I mean, not to speak for everyone. I don't want to like fucking come at someone's career. Also, being a financial advisor is a sales job as well.
Oh yes.
I'm not
much so.
saying that they're out there to
Yeah.
fucking steal your
What?
money, but at the end of the day, regardless of if they make you or lose you money, they're still making money.
Yeah, at the
Oh, yeah,
same
of course,
time, though,
of
they do give you the options based on how you want your portfolio to be set up.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Oh,
do
no,
do
for
that.
sure.
And also, they do make sure, like, especially at banks, too, you got to have a certain threshold to even, like, be considered. Like,
Yeah.
the investor.
No, for sure.
Except, like, securities-wise.
Yeah, I
sometimes,
just
yeah.
wanted to make sure people knew
Yeah.
they're making their
you're
money
gambling
regardless.
on your financial advisor. Like you're kind of it's like that's your expert. Like you go to experts. Like you're not gonna fix your own car, right?
Eh.
Like, but here's a good example. On small things in your car, you could fix penny stocks. But are you gonna invest your 401k on your own? Maybe you are.
Hell no.
But like if you're good enough, maybe you are. But for me, I won't.
Nah, my financial advisor's got
Yeah,
that. I go
I
through
think-
T. Rowe Price.
I think financial advisors are. If you can find one you trust, and that's very important. Like Jason said, it's a sales job.
Is yours is set up through your employer, though, right?
No, I use an external one.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
See, I went right through my employer.
Yeah, and you could do that. And that's a good option. It's free. But I have a family friend that does mine, and he's very good, and he's done all my families.
Nice.
So I think it's very important to trust someone, or even just go through your employer. I don't know what you do, Mason. Do you do it on your own?
What, mine?
Do you like invest on your own, or do you have someone you go to, or what's your?
No, my family, same as you. We have someone external that we go to.
And you trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not name dropping, but
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm not
definitely-
expecting you to
Definitely
either.
trust them.
Yeah.
I invest in, like, literally, like, one company right now. It's actually doing pretty decent.
So you only have all your money in? Do you have all your like?
Dude,
so
it's not a lot of money. Like, I downloaded Robinhood, and I just been playing around with
oh, okay. I thought you were talking your 401k. You're in a 401k,
it.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I got 13% my 401, 7% my Roth.
There you go.
20%.
What do you guys heard about the fucking Acorn app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I do.
I heard
So do
about
I.
it, but
What do you
don't
guys
use
What do you
it.
guys think about it?
It's just like invest your spare change, right?
It's literally what it does.
To be honest, and I'll pull it up.
So basically, when you spend like, and I don't want to like sales pitch them, but when you spend like
Shout out to
$9.70 or something like that, you don't think about that 30 cents. Some people throw it in their cup holder. Fucking, everyone's got a place for it. Fucking falls out of your jeans in the washer. So what this does is, it depends how you set it up, but I think based on like how much you spend, it'll round it to the next dollar and put it in an account for you. And invest it. And
what's it invest in? It's just like randomized.
You can pick that too. You can pick. You pick where you want the chunks of it to go.
So you like pick categories. So you
want just like generalized categories.
Earlier, and they'll kind of put
but then also mine's set up where it takes $10 out of my account, which is small. $10 out of my account a week. So every month it's taking 40, and then say I spend $600 a month, it'll round it to whatever. I might be putting $70 in there a month.
How long you been doing that for?
I've been doing that for 4 months now.
Really?
Or 4 to 5 months. Yeah.
So I have some
but you can pull it out whenever you want with no risk either.
Yeah.
So I'll just show you mine because I don't really care. It's whatever. So I have a total invested of $321, and this is over.
How much?
$321.
$321.
And this is over 7 months. I have a total dividend of $655, and that's just interest.
Yep.
My total gain loss in the market is actually minus $321. It's been as high as plus 14. But that's going to fluctuate. I haven't seen a lot of gain yet off it, but I haven't seen a lot of loss off it yet. And it shows you like this projection of when you like. So I put my retirement age at 64, and it can show you if you maintain this track, it'll show you how much hypothetically you'll have
when you retire.
So mine is 70,000. Is that realistic?
No,
I don't know. Maybe
Wait, 70,000 for when you retire?
And so I have age 64. That's 40 years.
if he keeps that app until he's 64 years old, that's saying.
Oh, you're talking about the app.
Yep, talking about
Dude,
ACRED.
I thought you were talking about your 401k.
Oh,
I'm like,
God,
dude,
no.
you'll never
If you're
retire.
Yeah, if you're
no.
only getting that much in
That's
your
just his spare
401k, you are
change.
screwed.
I'm like, Jesus, dude, you'll never retire.
But it's saying based off his spare change and like how he
yeah,
spends,
that's sick.
he can make $70K by 64.
yeah, just like invest in
And
your
that's-
spare change.
and that's like if
let me
so-
hit that jewel.
And that's at the average, the market's average. But yeah, I personally, I don't want to make judgments on it yet because I have very little money in it, and my gain loss is always around minus 10 to plus 15. So, I mean, the jury's still out on it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. But the cool part is, regardless of there's no like almost downside to it. You can take all that money and put it back in your account tomorrow, and it's not going to take anything from you. It's completely free.
I believe they have a debit card too. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me. I think they have a debit card.
I like that
believe?
Robinhood app though.
Robinhood's Dice. Do they charge you per trade?
What do you mean? What's
I don't think
Robinhood?
so. You could basically just personally invest on your own, like buy shares of whatever company.
So you invest in the stock market?
Yeah, stock market. It's the market. Yeah.
It's like E-Trade or any of those. So you can buy stocks in Apple, Netflix. These are big people.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've just been toying around. It's probably been, I think, maybe since last February I started. And I've just been honestly invested a lot just in this company, like in general. Enphase Energy. I like that one.
It's not. I can't remember. I know.
My first
I know
share.
Sammy Maz introduced me. Shout out to Sammy. I know he introduced me to that Robinhood app, and I think it was $0 per trade. Because a lot of people charge per trade like $7.
Yeah.
So that cuts into your margin a lot when you're doing small stocks.
sure.
And you're not investing a lot. But I've heard a lot about that app.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it costs me money, and if it does, I don't know about it. That sucks.
Yeah, I know that there's always fees. There's always some kind of fees in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet, but I don't think it's. I think it's $0 per trade.
But I think we should. I'm gonna leave this one thing out there. I think at our age, if you're between the ages of 20 and 27, if you're not aggressively investing your money, whether it's your 401k or stocks.
You gotta talk more into your mic. You're echoing heavy.
Yeah, better. Okay. So if you're in that age range and you're not really aggressive on your 401k or your stock investments, you really need to change that. And that's not just from me. That's literally, you can look that up anywhere. So you can fact check it. Make you really, because when you're younger, you can afford to lose that money, but when you're older, you can't. So you should always start aggressive and then slowly go down to safer, like the bonds. But I think we should probably.
I do like.
Definitely gotta jump off. What's up?
I do like 401ks and stuff like that. Like, it's great. It's just crazy, isn't it? Crazy that we live for the concept of setting ourselves up in the future for when we retire after we work that long.
No, not even that. We don't even live to set ourselves up for the future. we basically live to like set up the next generation. Like yeah, we'll spend some of our 401k, but bro, like when we retire, we're setting our kids up. We're not even setting ourselves up. We're literally everything, our retirement, our 401k, like insurance, like and all that bullshit that takes money out of your check and fucking invest it in it. But it's not setting you up for anything. It's taking money from your lifetime, putting it away for when you're done work so you can live decently comfortable and support your fucking kids. That's what it is. Yeah, you're literally paying for the next generation below you to fucking to raise them, basically.
To be honest, that's my end game.
What?
I would love to leave my kids a large chunk of money. I want to live comfortably.
Oh yeah.
Until I die, but my most important goal is to leave the next generation of my family the most money possible.
Yeah, but you're saying it like you're kind of making it seem like I don't want to do that.
No.
What I'm saying is I think the concept is fucking horrible. Like, yeah, I would love if I ever have kids, I would love to leave them enough money that they never even got to think about anything. But also, I would like to live my fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying, dude, my kid should make his own money. I'm gonna keep all mine.
Yep.
But also, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I hope I go above and beyond and like can make so much that, like I said, my kids through college and set. But also, like, where's the fuck's my money to go on vacations and trips and travel? Like, I don't want to live my life to think about the next person.
But the idea, like the 401k, like when I said live comfortably, by living comfortably, I meant exactly what you're thinking. Going on vacations, all that.
Okay,
That's what I mean by live comfortably.
Okay.
So don't think like I meant like I'm gonna live frugal.
I thought you meant
No.
I was like, well, me and you are comfortable now. Like, what do you mean by comfortable?
No, I would not live like.
So enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I want to be like it's two sides to the coin. I want to be able to enjoy myself, go on vacations, travel the world with my wife. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But give them a lot of money.
Exactly.
And that's, I mean, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Is it hard?
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah,
it is.
For sure.
So.
All right, let's jump off of that. Get back onto Drew here.
Going off road, boys. Off road.
We always get on the wrong fucking road.
Going off road. Nah, that's good stuff to talk about. Though.
No,
that's what
it
it's all
was.
about, though. You know.
Shout out to the fucking apps. Not at Applebee's either. But all right. So back to M&T. We talked about your job. We talked about the development program. So are you like satisfied like with your current position there? I don't want to say like with life, but like, are you happy for where you are at this point in your life, in your career?
Yeah, man. I think it's a good opportunity. Absolutely. What I was getting into is that like, so M&T has a very strong presence in Western New York. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Buffalo, like we give back to the community a lot in Buffalo. Rochester area has good. New Jersey's just starting to develop as far as like M&T wise. Our business banking does look pretty good down there, and then up there, and then Albany actually is like actually has a lot of turnover too. So they need a lot of positions there. But I think what it is, I'm definitely grateful for my position. But where I'm at right now, I definitely want to try and get into a bigger city, experience more for myself. Hopefully in the end game, get an apartment, hang out. I do like the Rochester area, so hopefully get there. But like I said, just try and take that next step, hop in the deep waters, get into a bigger city and people with like the same age and stuff like that. But I am satisfied with the current position and the people that have guided me and mentored me throughout the way. Like my manager and my regional, they've been great so far, and I think I've really developed with like the people I work with, so I am comfortable in the position I am now. Yeah, and I think there's always room for improvement, and I do want to keep improving in that position and perfecting my craft. So.
Where are you working now? Like
North Utica.
Oh, I was gonna say, bro.
No.
M&T, dog.
No, I know that.
North Utica.
Okay, you're North Utica. Okay.
So like on Genesee, like right off Genesee Street. You know, if you keep going north.
Yep. All right.
Right across from that fast track on the corner.
Yep,
there.
I know exactly.
It's like right before you hop on the Rome exit. Right over there.
Okay.
Oh, by like, is there a burned area over there?
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Berkshire right next door?
There is one in that area, but it's not next door.
Okay. All right, so you kind of hit on it. What's like your end game as far as your career? Like I know you said you want to get to Rochester, move up in the company, but like where do you see yourself? Say 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be at least?
That's hard to say because at 23 years old, I obviously want to be in like a good position. Like I want to be making more money. That's one thing I could.
What's the position though?
What's up?
Be like, what's like the actual position? Like, is it I don't know. I'm not really familiar exactly with
Yeah.
your next levels. So, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll
What's
tell
the
you.
next level? for
So
you?
basically, when you're going through the program,
Yeah.
it's management trainee.
Yeah.
And then after the program, what they do is they put you in either a management associate role or it's a branch manager.
Okay. So what's after branch manager?
What's that? Regional manager, and then
Okay.
market manager. And then you can go in like all different roads of the bank. You can get into business banking. You can get into underwriting. You can get into lending, commercial lending. You can get into commercial real estate.
So where's your niche? Where's your home?
I like business banking. I've tapped into a little bit of that so far. Not so much business loans yet, but like opening accounts for certain businesses. But it's funny because you really got to do your due diligence when it comes to like business accounts because you got to be making sure you're having the relationships with the right people.
Yeah. And there you go again with your connections, man.
No, but it's true, man. Like,
It all comes back to the connections.
It
bro.
really does. And the only reason I said that is because like I want to stress it because it's worked for you and it works for a lot of people. So I'm gonna keep stressing it. Connections for you worked.
Yeah.
The odds that works for the next person are pretty high. So like if there's one thing you get from this is that don't put yourself in a shell, man.
Yeah.
Reach out, go to those events at college, reach
Yeah.
out, do whatever you have to do, but man, talk to people.
That's
Yeah,
dude,
I think
that's
the
it.
most-
Just
Talk
talk,
to people
man.
all
Oh,
day,
it is.
every day.
Yeah. Well, the most important thing too in banking, especially like think about your finances, right?
Mm.
Like you guys were talking about doing business with an FA because he's a family friend and you trust him.
Mm.
So you got to make sure like you're developing a good relationship with people. People have to trust you when you're giving them advice when it comes to your finances.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know, so
Dude, that's just the
I just
way.
try and make it personable.
it needs to
all.
be.
Yeah.
That's the way everything in life works, man. It really all comes down to just fucking talking to someone. Like when I don't know about you as much. I mean, we talk a good amount, but like I'm a big, and this sounds funny, I'm a big phone call guy. Like I don't fuck with the interpersonal text message. Like I want to call you, I want to have a conversation, I want you to hear my voice, my emotion, and it's not as much tied into what we're saying, but it's the same same lane. You know what I mean? Like
It is.
everything's based on your personal connections with people. Like the real world, that's how anything, anywhere, even with your college professors, if you want to bring it back to the piece of paper, like even making a personal connection with your professor changes his opinion on you. Sitting in the front of the class instead of the back, raising your hand and asking a question just for the shits, like, you know what I mean? Like even if you know the answer, just him hearing your voice once or twice a class, okay, that's Drew Deblasis. He sits right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he don't know the guy sitting in the back left corner who fucking does shit all class and doodles on his notebook. That shit matters, no matter where you are in your life, bro.
And I'll say this, even in my job, so I work for Booz Allen Hamilton, and it's a pretty big contracting firm. So at my orientation, what they do is they fly you down to where is it? It's somewhere in Virginia. I can't remember now. And then you have a 2-day class, and a 4-hour part of this class is called matrixing, and it literally teaches you how to matrix, and what matrixing is just it's talking to people, and they call it making meaningful connections. And I found, and I hated the class when I did it. Trust me, I literally was like, this is corny. This is corny. I walk through Rome Labs, and what I do is, and I matrix. I talk to these people, and guess what? I see returns on that all of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you need that? You need something done?
Of course.
Call RJ. Call RJ.
Bro.
I've talked to him. He knows. And it's just crazy because you think it's
course.
corny as shit.
That's
but man,
it, bro. Just a
also-
hey, how you doing? Smile, shake of
Yeah,
the
all it
hand.
is.
2
It's-
weeks from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, they're like, you know what? He's a good guy. I remember him
yeah.
from here.
He does
you,
this.
You need something. I need like it's not using people.
It's
It's
not.
not.
No, it's not at all using people.
It's developing a fucking connection, a
because you
relationship.
can go to them too
Exactly.
if you need help. So
No
it's
one-
literally a mutual relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you want to like relate all that to like your own development too, like you guys were talking about, like where do you want to be in your careers and stuff. Think about it. If you don't have a good relationship, you know, for someone who's say in a higher position than you, right? Like you always want to strive to be that same, like not the same person, but learn from people who are in a higher position.
Yeah.
But dude, if you don't have that relationship with them, and how are you going to take control of your own development? How are you going to go to someone and be honest about what you actually want and where your career wants to head? You know, that's a hard conversation to have if you don't have a good relationship with somebody, or you're scared to bring up your own development to say like a manager that's a little bit higher up than you.
And that's a very good point. Never ever be afraid to voice that you are looking to move up, or you're looking to find the next opportunity. Because I find a lot of people that do that, they're very shy, and they'll always be stuck in the same position. You need to voice what your opinion. You really do, and that's huge. It's huge. I'm glad you brought that up.
And like honestly, you could get the answer and be like, "You're not ready yet," but at least you know.
Yep.
And at least they know. At least they know.
They know is the most important part.
That's the most important thing, is that at least they know. Okay, he's not ready yet. He's got some stuff he's got to learn. But now I know he wants to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the big thing.
And that all comes from communication.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and
exactly.
just understanding and having that relationship and being comfortable to be able to have those types of conversations. And that's important when you're a manager or any type of leader too.
Yeah.
A cool thing at my job, I'm not going to dive into detail with it, but a cool thing with my job is when I got my interview, I asked my boss, because I've had some shitty jobs, and I asked my boss, I go, or not my boss now, but I was interviewing, I go, dude, is this one of those jobs where like I'm never going to see you after today? Because I've had jobs where you don't see your boss. He interviews you, they hire you, and you don't see him again until once a month, where they walk around. They're all over the country. I go, am I ever going to see you, like be able to talk to you? Like, he was like, I sit right in the front. You can come talk to me whenever you want. I was like, that's awesome. I got hired. We do these things once a month. Well, once a day, he walks around, talks to every single person on his team. And then once a month, we have one-on-ones where we get to go in a private office with him and just talk about how we're doing, how we're feeling, if there's anything we want to change. And I think that's insane. I've never had a job where I could communicate with my direct boss as often as I can and like as openly as I can. I think that's really cool.
That's important, yeah. That was one good thing about both my managers, honestly, too. Like, I have I'm going to have quarter one-on-ones with my regional now, who's a step ahead of my branch manager. So she's not even like my main boss that I report to at the branch every day. But I used to have monthly one-on-ones with her during the program. I'm still going to have quarterly one-on-ones with her. So I'm meeting with her 4 times throughout the year, and she's traveling, she's busy, she's doing what she needs to take care of, but she's still making the time to talk to her employees and to all those relationship bankers, management associates, or branch managers that are really in the trenches making the numbers for the bank. She's making sure she's talking to those people and having those relationships with those people. And if you're not, man, like if you're not doing it for the people, like who are you doing it for? Like they're not going to want to work for you. So.
All right. So I mean, last question, kind of just wrap everything up. Not to put you on the spot, but is there anything you would change about how you got to where you are today? And then also, is there any like besides what we've been talking about, is there any like piece of advice you would give to anyone who like wants to get to kind of a position in their life to where they consider themselves successful?
Yeah, see, the whole changing thing, I don't like to say I want to change something because, life's definitely it's an up and down path, and, it sends you flying different ways sometimes. And, a lot of people could speak for that. One thing could be one thing one day, and then, 2 days later it changes and your life could, like, take a whole different route. So I think you just always have to be ready for change. But there's nothing I probably would go back and change. I definitely like the path I took.
Word.
So yeah, there's that. And then if I were to give any advice, it's just take advantage of the situations you have. So whether you're going to school, or you have a chance to join the Army or get in a trade school, take advantage. And no matter what you do, just do that at the best of your ability. And that's people will notice that, and you'll find that it will definitely help you in the end.
Good advice.
No follow-up for that. I think that was perfect.
No, that was really good advice.
Yeah, that was for it, honestly.
Why am I crying in the club right now? You got anything else you want to ask him, Marge?
Honestly, man, I think it's a great ending point. That's a great advice, and honestly, I think that this whole podcast, people, if you want to listen to something that's going to help you in the future, I think you listen to this and gain some knowledge.
I mean, a lot of it's solely like opinion based, but a lot of it's through real life experience as well. So
that's all it's about is real life experience, and that's what this podcast is about, man.
Hey, shout out to the word real at the Real Bar, baby.
The Real Bar podcast.
All right, guys. Everyone, I appreciate you guys listening. We are all over iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, fucking Jesus, Google Play, Stitcher. You name it.
There's a lot of platforms.
We're there. We're everywhere.
Telephone pole at your local corner.
Seriously. Drew, I appreciate you coming on. It was really fun. RJ, as always, it was fun. Appreciate you co-hosting for at least this season. And I hope everyone listening has a good week. And we will talk to you guys later. This has been The Real Bar. Peace.
Thanks for having me.